said earlier, my name is Sonia Osayade, and this webinar is brought to you by FlexiServe. FlexiServe is an edtech company that is looking to, make life as educators that much easier, help to automate processes from your attendance to fees collection to pretty much the things that educators do, day to day. And what the conversation we'll be having today is titled The 21st Century Educator, the Need to Learn, Unlearn, Relearn, and Earn. And to, moderate this session today would be Teacher Chike, who is currently here. Teacher Chike is an amazing young educator that has, taken it upon himself to, provide value even outside of the classroom. And also with him is the other amazing speakers that we'll be having to chair the session for today. We're currently expecting Kemi, that's a potential Kemi. She'll be with us as soon as she can. I was informed that she's having slight issues connecting, but it promises to be an amazing time. It promises to be educative, it promises to be informative, and it promises to be of value. So I'll be handing over the mic to Teacher Chike very soon, so he'll take the session away. But a couple of things to note, please. This session is being recorded, which means that you can always have access to the things that are discussed here today, and you can always replay it and get value from it. Another thing is it's going to be a panel discussion where we're going to be having discussions on some of the questions that our amazing educators had sent in, prior to today. And I would have our panelists, answer these questions as much as they can. But please, if you have questions, during the course of this particular webinar, kindly use the Q&A section. If you just look at the bottom of your device, either your laptop or your phone, you'd see the Q&A option there. Please kindly use it to send in questions that you may have, and you can also indicate who the question is for. So without further ado, we'll just quickly kickstart, and then I'll hand over the mic to Teacher Chike. Teacher Chike, how are you doing? Over to you, please.
I'm very fine. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be with us, and it's a privilege to gather together as a team. I, for one, I've always looked for this opportunity whereby educators can be able to have this collaboration, and it's a very good one that FlexiServe is giving us this opportunity, this platform, and which is a good one. And also to my one of our panelists, Teacher Sabi, I want to say good evening to you, and also to everyone present for this session. Good evening to everyone. So starting, moving on, today's topic is Educator's Guide to Learn, Unlearn, Relearn, and Earn. And the first one there is the learn. So what are we learning? As the normal 21st century 4C of learning, we have the communication, we have creative thinking, we have creativity, critical thinking, creativity, and also the last one is collaboration. So today we'll be learning from ourselves to see how we could be able to start from the wealth of knowledge that some of us have. Some of us are already high in terms of this particular aspect. So we're going to start from our knowledge, see how we can be able to collaborate, see how we can be able to develop that creative thinking skills that will make every one of us leave this particular meeting and go back to your school, go back to your own workplace, and see how you can change the pattern at which you have been doing things before. And again, we try to see how we can be able to learn from each other's wealth of creativity and the rest. So that's what we'll be doing today in the learning. And also the unlearning, we'll be unlearning that mindset that has been passed down to us from our fathers. They've always told us that a teacher's reward is in heaven. And one question I sat down to ask myself is that, what if someone, God forbid, what if someone does not make heaven? That means the teacher would lose both his reward on earth and lose his reward in eternity. So we have to unlearn those kind of things that try to put teachers to be down, they try to downcast teachers, try to make teachers to be like the less in terms of profession. And we all know that teaching is like the mother of all occupation, mother of all profession. So we cannot just do that. So we have to learn all those things. Then what are we relearning again? We're relearning technology. How can we be able to advance our teaching skills out of the classroom? How can we use tech to be able to make it easier for us? How can we use tech to be able to impact much? You know, your classroom is small, irrespective of the kind of school you teach and the amount of students you have. And the classroom is small compared to the entire world. So imagine about the billions of people in the world that you could be able to reach out, and millions of them are in Nigeria in terms of students, that you can be able to reach out from your own space of classroom or whatever you want to be operating from. So there is a lot to do with technology. And the last thing that we are going to be learning is the earning aspect. I know most people feel that teaching is all about passion. And I've said that before, that teaching is about passion. But I've seen people trade their passion for profit. So they leave their passion and they go up to pick up things that will be profitable for them. And that is not really their passion. So most of the people we have in the educational sector are just makeshift teachers. Okay, there's nothing to do. I just want to just maybe I just stumbled upon one small school by the side and I feel okay, it's not me whiling time. Why my dream job is not there? Let me go there. But those that have the passion, they have to trade it for profit. So once someone can be able to understand this, then you understand that teaching is business. Teaching is not just about passion alone. Teaching is business. And every business you do, you must make profit. So if you can be able to utilize this forum that we are creating, this learning that we are creating, to see how you can be able to make profit out of teaching, then automatically you've learned something great today. And that is all we're going to be doing today. So we'll be learning, we'll be unlearning, we'll be relearning, and we'll be earning by the grace of God. It's not a fast process, it's not a get rich quick, whatever. No, it's a process. We keep doing it by the process. Then by the time that by the time that in the next 1 year, next 2 years, we'll have achieved something great. So it's good to have every one of us here. So we'll be moving down straight to our subject topic. And I don't know, Shadi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike. So for the moment, we'll be doing interaction while the Professor Ken is able to join in. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
That's very good now. So Mark, we'll be starting with you. Can you just briefly tell us about your journey so far in the teaching profession, your journey so far, and it will be under this particular pattern, like what made you get into teaching and the level that you've gotten in this your journey of teaching and your area of specialization.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Falstad Folashade Adigeye, popularly known as Teacher Shade. So I studied English education from the Lagos State University, and professionally I've been teaching for over 25 years. I've been in the private sector for years. So I joined Lagos State Teaching Service like 6 years ago. That was 2016. And so far, so good. It's been an amazing journey. Teaching has always been a profession that I've always wanted to do. So it's been a smooth journey all the way. I love what I do, so I enjoyed it. I enjoy doing it. So it's an amazing journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. It's good to have, what I call it, teachers that have gone ahead of you, shared their wealth of experience with you. Me, my first spot in the classroom was 10 years ago, and professionally, I've been in the classroom for 6 years. I teach biology. I'm a teacher. I'm not just a teacher, I'm a teacher. I teach biology in Abuja, Christian Academy. So it's good to have you here, Ma. So now, English education, that's very good. Now, the next question we have for you here is, was there ever a time you considered quitting teaching? Was there ever a time you considered quitting teaching? And if there was a time, what was the reason and how were you able to deal with that challenge? Was there ever a time, you remember everybody be like, there's no money in teaching, and people were just coming here because we have the passion and we have the love. Have there been any any time whereby you considered quitting it at all? And if there was a time, what was the reason and how were you able to deal with it?
Well, there were times, there was a time when I actually left teaching for some years. Well, I started teaching in 1999. That was when I had my first certificate as a professional teacher. I had my grade 2. And I taught later, I had my NCE. And I worked in a private school for some years. And for some reasons, I was not just comfortable with them. You know, there are some of this private school that are used to this. I had never been bothered about money. You know, when you do something that you love, fine, we all work to make money. But at times when you do something that you love doing, even the payments will not be a problem to you. And everybody that is coming into teaching already knows that there's so much in teaching. So you shouldn't be expecting much. When you don't have high hope, you will not be disappointed. That's one thing about it. But the problem I had with them was that they overuse you. They use you more than they pay. When you have, then I studied English. I had just my NC there. I had not even gone for my degree. And as a fresh graduate from the College of Education, I was meant to teach. I actually applied to teach in their primary school. I was taken to secondary school, and somebody that just finished from he was teaching English studies. You know, English studies take like 5 periods in a week. I mean, a day. And I was teaching from JS1 to SS1. Wow. You can imagine the stress. You will teach the all 5 periods of JS1, JS2, JS3, and SS1. And it was just taking too much of my energy then. Actually, the one did not want to quit, but later I had discussion and it was like, this is exploitation. It's one thing to love what you are doing. Fine, whatever payment you are getting might not be okay, but it's another thing for you to be overused. And when you feel used, you lose satisfaction in the job, you lose interest, and I had to quit. So I just went for I actually had the intention of going for part-time degree then. So I just felt it wasn't worth it. So I had to quit and went for my degree full-time. So when I came back for my degree, I found that I will not teach in any private school again until I get a government to work. So I started my own personal business. I had my shop, I had my apprentice, I was doing some skill training. So I started training people. It was like a school. So I trained people on some skills, pickup, and some other things like that. But my mind was still in school. So I was still applying for government, but I told myself if I could not get to work for the government, I'll just continue with my private work. But fortunately for me, after so many trials, I was able to get to work with the Lagos State government, and I quit there. Because that one was just a means to an end then. I was just using it because I'd always wanted to be a teacher. Even when we finished from the university then, I remembered when they were writing the yearbook, you know, there was a space where they asked me, if you were not a teacher, what would you have been? Others were writing what they would have wanted to be, lawyers, doctors, and only wrote, if I was not a teacher, I would just still be a teacher, because I was not thinking of any other thing. There was no any other cause on my mind. I always wanted to be a teacher. But because of the way I was treated, I had to quit that time. Then when I got offer from government, I left the business and faced teaching freely.
That's a very good one, Ma. That's a very good one. I think every teacher present here would have experienced this particular ordeal that you had. I remember me, myself, when I think that was 2018, I had to, I went to a particular school. I was teaching from primary 4 to SS2, and Agric and biology. From primary 4 to SS3 was Agric, then biology, SS1 and SS2. I regretted being a teacher then. I hated being a teacher. Then I told my mom, I said, I'm done with the classroom. Let them just leave me alone. I fought from the classroom to the medical line. I think I went to the hospital to work because I read biology, so I could feature in the lab. I stayed in the lab for only 4 days. When I saw the hospital stuff and the rest, I came back and I said, no, doctor is not for me. I cannot do this one. I came back to where I was, and it was like that. It's good to have quintessential Kemi around. Please, if you're quintessential, can you hear me, please?
Hello, yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
It's good to have you around. We heard that there was an issue with network, but we can see you very well. Thank you so much. Okay, now there was a question I've asked earlier, but we'll have to ask you because it's part of our opening session. So I want you to tell us a brief story, just tell us briefly about your journey so far in the teaching profession. What made you get into teaching, the level that you've gotten to in teaching, and your area of specialization?
Okay. So first of all, I'll just say special. I mean, I'm giving special greetings to teacher Shade. Hello, Ma. It's great to see you. So I'm one of your biggest fans from afar. Yeah. So it's good to see you here. Okay. So yes, my journey into teaching. My journey into teaching is an interesting one. So I'm going to use this analogy, which I like to share when I speak about this. So imagine that you go somewhere, you want to eat something, and then you're given a plate of food that you've never tasted before. And then you tell yourself, let me take a spoon, let me just see how it tastes. And then you take a spoon, and then you feel, this is sweet, let me take another spoon. You take it, and before you know, you're done with that plate of food. Now that's the analogy for my, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yes.
Okay, now that's my analogy into teaching. So yes, I studied English education for my first degree. But when I finished school, my mind wasn't into anything teaching. I studied education, but I didn't feel like I wanted to teach because, I'd seen different examples of teachers around me. I'd seen teachers that were struggling. I'd seen teachers that were not just living the kind of life I wanted. So I'm like, this education, I'm going to pack this degree and just, throw it somewhere else. So after NYC, I came back. And then I started applying for top jobs in different organizations because I felt I was smart, right? But for some reasons, I wasn't getting a job, and then I was at home. I was just bored. First month, second month, just there. And I'm like, okay, let me bring out this whole education thing and let me see how it works. And then I started pushing out my application into schools. But at that point, I didn't just push out my application anywhere. At that point, when I realized that, okay, let me pursue teaching, I had to ask myself some critical questions, which defined my path into teaching. So I had to ask myself, okay, Kemi, why do you want to do this? Do you just want to do this because there's no job? Or can you bring out something else out of this? And then, knowing that I've always been a person that wants to achieve impact, I knew that if I'm going into teaching, I'm going into this to achieve some form of impact, positive impact. I'm not going to be the teacher that is grumpy. I'm not going to be the teacher that is there, that is aggressive, like we used to see way back, right? I knew that I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it for impact. I wanted to do it, and I want to do it to be recognized for it. I asked myself, yes, I want to teach. What are the physical and psychosocial features that I want in the kind of school environment I want to work in? So oftentimes when I say this, people tell me, does it mean that if you were supposed to work in a public school, you won't work? And then I tell them that at that point when I was, gaining entry into my career, I was clear, right? The public space is a great space, but I was specific about the kind of psychosocial features I wanted in my workspace. And so I went after it. I researched after schools that will offer me such opportunities. I checked out what requirements they look out for in their teachers. And then I tried to add that up to myself. And then I pushed for that, and then I got into the school where I currently work now. So just to mention here, right, just the same way parents will always shop for the best schools for their children, as teachers we also have that. As teachers, we should also be empowered to know that we can also shop for the best schools to work in, right? You don't have to be conditioned to a space. You see parents going all around looking for good schools for their children. Who says that as a teacher you can't search out for the best schools, find out what is required in those spaces and try to gain entrance into that space? So yes, so that was it for me. I came into the education space. First year, second year, I loved it. And then I went back again for my master's degree in educational administration and planning. And then I'm loving teaching, loving it. I've created my brand out of it. And teaching has offered me limitless opportunities. Just like the theme of today's session, learning, unlearning, relearning, or learning. Am I correct?
Learning, relearning, and earning.
Yeah, so that's the pathway to teaching. Just making sure that you're not static, adding new things constantly. I hope you can hear me. So I hope I'm thinking my introduction time must be up by now.
Thank you so much. So I heard something about brand, and we'll get to the brand very soon. We'll get to that aspect of the brand that you talked about. And again, I also heard something about you saying researching. I know most of the times, perhaps some person's eyes have been opened that it's not just about anywhere around me. I have to research. That's the use of technology. And again, not only that, we have to equip ourselves. Like there was a time I started searching for some schools, and they told I will see someone, they said you need to be Cambridge certified. So I went online to start checking.
You need to be Microsoft certified.
Registering or to be trained for Cambridge. Most of the times, you just have to be in a place whereby they are like a British school, and they get to feature you, then you start learning and all those stuff. And that was how I just got where I was. Then, luckily for my own school now, we now moved into the British curriculum, so we have to join the British schools and the rest. And from there, we started getting those certifications. So now with those certifications, now you've equipped yourself. So that's very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach Kemi. We are very grateful. Now to the next question. So now we're coming back to Teacher Sade. What is the role of technology? Does technology really have a role in education? Would it be this role of technology in education?
Thank you so much. This is 21st century, and we cannot take out the role of technology in our lives, not just in education, but in everything that concerns us. So it is, a wise man once said that you cannot be using the 20th and 19th century method to teach 21st century students. It doesn't work. This is a century where the children of this century they are wise, they are technologically inclined, they know what is going on, they know how to handle things. So the role of technology is just wide. We need it in impacting knowledge. We need a classroom that is technologically inclined where children can have access to gadgets that will enhance their learning. But this, in any other case, it's different when it comes to public schools. Not all public schools that have this access, especially the children from the less privileged home. But at the same time, teachers, as a teacher, you have to be equipped with the knowledge of technology. You have to be up to date in the kind of data that you disseminate to these children. Gone are the days when teachers inherit lesson notes. Do you know that teachers inherit lesson notes? When someone wants to retire from that, I got to know about that when I got to government service. When somebody is retiring, the most valuable thing he could leave for those coming behind him or her is or her lesson notes. And you see teachers fighting for it because it just helps them to just copy and paste. Gone are those days I will use such things. You need to leverage on the technology to get up-to-date information that you use to teach your children, to get the latest skills that are needed in teaching industry. So the role of technology is even the way you keep our data. Gone are the days when teachers mark lesson notes, write lesson notes on paper. Everything is online now. Everything, you can even put your own teaching online. Look at the other time we had issue of the COVID-19. Education would have stopped totally. Can someone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Education in Nigeria or any other place would have stopped totally, would have been put in a halt if not for the use of technology. We're able to engage in remote learning and all of that. So we have a lot of reasons why we need to improve the use of technology in the education system.
That's very good. Thank you so much, Teacher Sade. We're very grateful. Over to you, Teacher Kemi. What do you think is the role of technology in education? Is there any role at all? How can it feature both on the student side, both on the teacher side, especially for the teachers' profit? Because today we are on our side as teachers. So how can we profitably, if there's a role, then how is it profitable? Hello.
Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, so the role of technology in education. Technology and education are inseparable. To give children or to give students quality educational experiences in this 21st century, you cannot separate technology from education. So I'm going to go in two ways. The role of technology, first of all, to give your students immersive learning experiences. Technology helps you to break down, to move the children from abstract concepts to concepts that are chewable for them, right? Technology is what helps you it helps you make learning real. And I'm just going to quickly chip in a little example before I continue. Now, some weeks ago in my classroom, we were reading a story in a book about a child that visited the IBM office in the US and all of that. So that was the experience in the book. But then the children in my class could not relate to that story because they've never visited that, that IBM office. They really couldn't connect to it. So what did we do? We went on Google and then we had like a digital field trip where I showed them they were reading about the IBM office in the book, but then I showed them what the IBM office looked like. So, even though we were in the classroom here in Lagos, it was as if we were over there in the US because they saw what all the offices looked like. Everything they were reading about in the story, they could see, they could connect, and they were like, oh, wow, this is what the boy was saying in the story. It became real to them, right? That's what technology does. Makes learning real, makes learning engaging. Everything is not just abstract. Everything is not just theoretical. It helps you break it down into those little pieces that the children, can understand. And so, yes, technology will also help you as a teacher to make your work easier. There are numerous platforms where you can get tools, whether it's worksheets you need, whether it's PowerPoint. So there's a particular site I use. I don't know if we're still going to get to that point, but the point is technology will make your work easier as a teacher. Right? Colorful presentation slides, everything you need, games, starter activities, everything you need to make your classroom fun and engaging. Technology will afford you that opportunity. Now, leaving that one aside to come into us as teachers, we can leverage on technology to build ourselves, to build our brands. I'm very, what's the word about it? I love to speak about what creating a brand can do for us as teachers, because sometimes teachers try to limit ourselves to just the four walls of the classroom without realizing that there's more out there. The same things we do in the classroom, we can apply those skills out of the classroom and then leverage on it. When it comes to, we write lesson notes. Who says we cannot create content, or who says we cannot create courses, online courses, right? Technology will help you build your brand. That's what has helped me up to this point, leveraging on different social media platforms to constantly talk about what I do in the classroom, talk about my achievements, talk about everything that relates to my students. And then it keeps bringing more and more opportunities my way. So technology is like a double-edged sword for the teacher. First of all, it makes your work easier in the classroom, and then you can use it to build yourself. Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. That's very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really nice one. Like sometimes, biology, when I want to teach, I have models, but I can't use model to explain some concept that's going on inside the liver. And I need to bring my learners to come to understand these particular concepts. So that is why I now have to integrate the use of some videos that shows me in depth into the liver. So I go to YouTube and I get videos on videos from like 7 Active Studio and then some other studios like that. Those guys are into that. They see what goes on in, and those things get to stick. So technology helps teaching. It helps us to, modify and also bring new innovations every year, year in, year out. Most of the times, every year, my notes is not the same. The system needs more of this young bloods, to me, if I would say, the system of Nigeria, because our system of Nigeria is still a little bit backward. It's still part of the problem that we're still facing as educators. Imagine repeating the same thing, and someone will come to tell you, okay, we're going to write this particular lesson plan, and you keep writing the same thing every year. And to me, I'm like, why do you have to write every year? When we already have technology, we can, in one term or so, put in all these things into the system. All you need to do is to make some additions and make some deductions and the rest. That one won't take you much time than copying again. And some people feel that if you don't copy, like when some of the supervisors come around, they'll be like, and they need hard copy. That they did hard copy. So they want us to do hard copy. And I think that's one of the problems we're facing here in the system. And to me, that's there, even at the board level, education board level, we need to embrace technology. So that life can be easy for the normal teacher. And once life is easy for the normal teacher, then the teacher can have enough time to be creative, have enough time to be innovative, have enough time to seek for other options. So me writing plan, I can be seeking for a better way to teach it. I can be seeking for better resources to teach it. If not, we'll just speak by coming to, as Teacher Shadi have said, we'll be inheriting and inheriting. It is really, really great. Now I want to go personally, and I will come to Teacher Shadi now, personally to you, because I went on, when I was contacted, I had to search for Teacher Shadi, I had to search for Professor Kelly, and I went and I saw numerous wow things about both of them. And I saw Teacher Shadi in class one day, and I know she was giving some kind of affirmations, and it was wow, and those were the things that went viral. And that is why some persons in Edo State. So I have to go to make all those research to what are the people I'm talking with and the rest. And it was wow. And it was because of you leveraged upon technology. So I want to ask you personally.
No, can others hear you? I couldn't hear you for some time. It seems.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, now I said, how have you been able to integrate technology into the classroom, both for yourself as a brand, that is Teacher Shadi brand, and also in your normal teaching activities or teaching and learning activities? How have you been able to integrate it? What steps have you followed? What have you done? What are you doing so you can be able to learn from it?
Well, thank you so much. Technology has been so helpful to me in my classroom, and it has also taken me beyond the four walls of classroom, definitely. I told you I teach in a public school, public primary school, where in most cases the children do not have access to up-to-date information, to things that they need to that their counterparts in a better private schools have. So with use of technology, I was able to bring those things closer to them. More often when I teach using information from my phone. I always have my iPad with me. I show them what they need to know. I can't give them assignments that may require that they use technology because most of them don't have access to it. But I used to bring it to the class to them to see. I make them see in most cases, those videos we all sit to produce the video, to do the video together. An average pupil in my class can make a video using phone, can even edit, because we do it together. Many a time when we meet to learn something that they have to see, we're talking about that. There was a time I told them, I was teaching them how to generate electricity, and they didn't even have to, Google it, showed them what we mean by dam and different dams that we have all those. So it has been helping me in the classroom, and even in recording my data and all that. It has been so well. There's something I also do. There's this project I have, we call it IGR, Interactive Group Reading. So I was able to use technology to get them some materials online that they can read, pronunciation and all that. It has been working. And beyond classroom, technology has even taken me to a place where I least expected, as you all know. Presently, I won the best primary school teacher in Lagos State, and I was gifted by the Lagos State government. That was how far technology has taken me. That was how I started. During the COVID, while others were still at home thinking, 2 weeks into the COVID, the first time ever I started using technology to teach was in year 2000, during the lockdown, March 2000. We had the first 3 weeks of lockdown. Everybody had to stay at home. So those 2 weeks were just too, I don't know. I happen to be the type that is restless. I'm a restless person. I don't like sitting down for too long. I just want to do something. I mean, because I'm used to being with children. When I don't see them, I feel somehow. So I was just missing my class, and I felt, okay, let me just start something, teaching online. While I had that the frontliners, the health officials, the security personnel are out there. As a teacher, and I call myself mother of all professions, then what am I doing? What is my contribution during this critical time? So I just sat down and right there and then I designed a kind of a flyer, and I distributed it online to groups, telling people that I'll start online teaching. Some people uploaded it. I remember a particular comment. My husband even remembered recently when I won the best teacher in primary school. The man said, if you're hungry, just tell us. Who is asking you to come and teach us at this particular time? Nobody's interested in your teaching. But those comments did not discourage me. So for the 6 months that we stayed at home, I was able to engage with children at home online using my Facebook 3 hours every day, Monday through Saturday. And I did that for 6 months. So when the school resumed, the purpose as was justified. I don't think we needed it anymore. So I stopped the class. And from there, some people got to know about me and told the Lagos students about me. And I was invited to write scripts for radio program. So presently, I anchor a program on radio 3 times a week on the Echo 89.7 FM. We call it workshop. So I teach English for 15 minutes on radio 3 times a week. I was invited to write a radio program that should continue on radio. So after it continued on radio, I just thought, okay, these achievements, the assignment has been done, I've played my part, but people will not allow me to rest. People come into my inbox, they want, even during that COVID, I asked some parents, maybe when we talk to get to how to make money online, I asked some parents that actually private chatted me that they wanted private lessons for their children, apart from the one I used to do generally. So I was making money. Then when others were complaining that they were broke, salaries were not being paid, I was making money there because I asked some people that are teaching on Zoom, then making money, getting some payment from parents there. So such parents were still disturbing. This school has resumed. I don't think my service will be needed anymore, but people said they still wanted that class to continue. So I just thought of this, okay, instead of having a physical class like a live class, let me start doing a kind of skit. We have skits that are doing like funny skits. My wife can't mind me a kind of educational content. So I started writing just 1 minute, 2 minutes video to teach a particular topic or correct a particular error, especially in the use of English language. And finally, it went viral. That particular video that actually went viral was, it's still part of technology because there was a time I saw something like that, something similar, but not Nigeria. I think the video is from a UK teacher. So it circulated some years back, I think around that 2020 or 2019. So then I thought I could also do this for my own learners, but our environments are different. Our needs are different. So what the person was saying there, peculiar to them there, the needs of my own pupils are different. These are people from really, really, really less privileged that needs to be encouraged. So I changed the words, but it's the same pattern. The lady was just asking them those affirmative words and they were responding. And I felt, okay, let me do my own version. And I did it then. I've been using that thing for over 3 years. It's not something that I just started doing. So there was a time I had to record it and I kept it. So during the holiday when those pupils were not around for me to record with them, I just posted it. This is what I do with my pupils. I never knew it was going to go that viral, but here we are, it went. And presently, I have a lot of followers on Instagram, on Facebook, and TikTok, and things have been so good for me using the technology. So if there's nothing else, if people are saying, what good does technology bring, then I think I will be an example of one good thing. It's worth
good one. Indeed, it's a good one. It's a good one. It only takes one content to make someone's life to change. And so if you have not been able to leverage upon that, then I don't think can you hear me, please?
I just started hearing that it was cut off for a few seconds.
Okay. And please, okay, let's go over to Princess Kemi. So, Princess Kemi, please, can you just tell us how you've been able to integrate technology into your classroom?
Hello.
Oh,
Hello. Okay, please, I didn't hear the question. Can you go over it again? You were
how
off.
have you been able to integrate technology into your classroom?
Okay, how have I been able to integrate technology into my classroom? So I'm going to do inside and outside my classroom, and I'll start with inside my classroom. So first of all, hello. Okay, so first of all, integrating technology in
Hello, can you hear me? Hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can. So sorry about that. Okay, so first of all, in the presentation of my lessons, technology, I mean, I teach little children between the ages of 7, 8, 9. And technology allows me to offer my students engaging learning experiences. I mean, at that age, the children don't want, I mean, they don't want boring lessons, right? They want lessons that are engaging, that are interesting, that are fun-filled for them. Now, how do I do that? I mean, making sure that the period I'm using to explain things orally isn't too stretched during a lesson. I mean, for every topic, I might just explain for maybe 7 minutes, and then we go into basic activities that will help to reinforce what we're learning. And then technology offers me that opportunity. So just like I said earlier, whether it's using engaging PowerPoint slides, whether it's games, I mean, I use lots of gamification. I mean, I use technology to offer my children different. Okay, so yes, I mean, I do lots of games in my classroom, lots of games, lots of fun starter activities, I mean, which you can just resource for online as a teacher. Like I always tell teachers when I go to train at different programs that I have a bank of activities that can never make my classroom boring, like a whole bank. It's just about searching online and then getting lots and lots of things to make my classroom fun. So for me, that's how I leverage on technology within my classroom. Then coming to me as a person and as a brand, I mean, I've leveraged on technology in different ways. I've created online courses, I mean, for myself, for various organizations, FlexiServe included, yes, and then building on my brand using technology. So for the first 2 to 3 years of my teaching career, I was just a random teacher, just like everyone else. I wasn't leveraging on technology. I was just there. And then at that point where I started to push out myself, first on Facebook and then on Instagram and then on LinkedIn, and then just telling basic stories about what was happening in my classroom, just like I've said earlier on, earned me opportunities. So I was able to build a strategic brand using technology. And then that has opened a wide pathway for me. So basically that's it, using technology inside the classroom and then outside the classroom.
Yeah. That's very good. Very good one. Very good one. Now there's just one general question I want to ask both of you. Now, were you given a platform or did you take advantage of your situation? Did anybody give you any platform or you yourself, you rose up to the occasion for yourself to take opportunity? Shade, can I hear from you, please?
There was no anybody that gave me the platform. As I told you, I teach in a public school. As a matter of fact, things like that hardly happen in such way. And that was why people were so wild when they saw my videos and things like that. You will see comments like, imagine public school teacher, because like when people think no good thing will ever come out of the Israel of public school. That was an African thinking when you think of, just like my sister just said that she never wanted to teach in public school. An average thinking person would think public school teachers, like there's a way to think, there's a level, or their level of thinking or their level of operation is somehow. And that's why you find it difficult to see young youth these days that want to go into teaching, because they just think public schools, nothing to show. But it's like having an itch for yourself. The fact that you are among them doesn't mean you have to be like them. We all have where we're coming from. We have our goals, we have our aspirations. I've always wanted to be a teacher. I'd never thought of anything I wanted to do, but I've always told myself, I'm going to be a teacher and I'm going to be a successful one. I'm going to be an outstanding one. So I don't need anyone to create a platform for me to operate. I can always create one for myself and set a pace. Recently, if you go to social media, you see a lot of public teachers coming out. And then many of them will tell you, Shade, I'm inspired by you. You see, somebody has to take the lead. We don't always have to wait for somebody to create that spirit for us. You can just be the pioneer. You can start something. And when people see that what you are doing, people are accepting it. You see, when I started the TikTok, you see comments like, first time I see something reasonable on TikTok. You see comments like, hey, first time ever we are seeing something, such comments. And when they now find out that I'm a public school teacher, is to make them feel more like, so we have good teachers in public school. Just that, because maybe I should say, because when you are in public service, you don't have to stress yourself to get your promotion. You don't have to do much, just a normal thing. And after 3 years, your promotion and the increment in salary are waiting. So maybe that's why many people relax and they don't really think there's any reason for them to go further. And some of them just think they're already at the peak of their career, so no problem. But for some of us that think outside the box, we just think quietly because somebody told me there's no even box. But when you still have a box and you're still restricting yourself, just throw the box away and think freely. So some of us that think freely and have the kind of growth mindset, we just want to do something else to ourselves. So nobody actually did that. I just started my own thing and it's all good.
That's very good. So every one of us out there, every teacher out there, please ensure, every teacher out there, ensure that you take responsibility for your own coming out, for your own rising. Take responsibility. Every teacher out there, take responsibility. You are the one that will create the platform for yourself. You are the one that will create the platform for your life. So you have to start taking those steps now. Nobody will come to help you. Nobody will assist you. Don't have your mind that no one owes you nothing. You remove every form of entitlement mentality. Your employer don't owe you anything. Even the parents of your children don't owe you nothing. You owe yourself everything. So please take charge of your own destiny. Take charge of your financial destiny. Take charge of the impact you want to make and try to see how you can be able to do it very well. As you can hear from her, she started TikTok. She was using her own data. She was using her own time, her own energy. And it's paid off, and it's paying off now. So we can take charge of ourselves. So now the question I'll be asking you now, the question I'll be asking you is that how can educators for their own like in making impacts and also at the end of the day getting paid? What platform can teachers use? How can if someone wants to start?
Hello, teacher Chike.
Did you get the question?
No, so you were breaking, you were in and out. Hello, can you go over the question again?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. Please go over the question again.
Can I say the question I was asking is that what platforms can teachers leverage upon for both for their learning, like their teaching and learning activities, and also for building their brand?
Okay, so I mean, For teaching and learning activities, I'll advise every teacher to please leverage on Twinkle, TWINKL. Twinkle is an application that offers you resources from, early years to any class, like to the highest class. You find different resources there. If you're a teacher, you find worksheets, you find PowerPoint slides that are editable. So if you find a foreign content there, you can edit it to suit your own specific to suit your own specific needs of your classroom, right? So Twinkle offers a lot of starter activities. How do you start your lessons as a teacher? Do you just start by saying, okay, hello, good afternoon, everyone. The topic for today is this. There are fun ways you can use to start a lesson to arouse the interest of your learners, using puzzles, using mind games, using critical thinking activities. You get a lot of that on Twinkle. So maybe I'll put it into the chat box when I'm done talking. TWINKL, please do that. And then, so for us as teachers personally, what platforms can you use? In pushing yourself out there so that you can earn. Now, first of all, I'm going to say, before you even think of a platform you want to use to push yourself out, you need to identify where your strengths and your weaknesses are. You need to understand yourself. You need to know where your passions lie, right? So for some teachers, they might be good with video content. So you need to find out the platforms that work for video content, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, those platforms, you'll thrive doing all of those things on those particular platforms. You might be that kind of person that maybe you're not a video person, right? Maybe yours is just to write content or articles. Your own could be blogs. You might be the person that likes to talk. You could leverage on podcasts. So there's always something for everyone. So the first thing is not for you to just feel that, oh, as a teacher, I want to push myself out there. Let me just get on any platform and every platform. No, as much as there are so many platforms to leverage on when it comes to technology, you must be sure of what works for you, right? What works for you. And then you're getting the, thank you very much for putting the link in the chat box, Sonia. You must be sure of what platform works for you. For me, I started out with Facebook, just writing content, and then I moved to LinkedIn, just writing. So I'm not much of the video person, right? I often don't want to get in front of the camera every time. So I knew that, okay, video, but I can stick with writing. That's not to say that I've not done video content. Yes, I have, right? But I knew what my strengths are, and then I'm leveraging and capitalizing on those strength areas. So first of all, identify, do a SWOT analysis for yourself as a teacher, and then find out the platforms that work for your strengths. Yes, so that's it.
All right, that's very good. So as you've heard, first of all, understand your strength. Me, I'm a video person, so I'm a video person.
We know.
Yeah. So recently, I'm thinking of now going into having a section for my own biology side. I've seen YouTube. Most of my contents are more of building character, molding characters. Yes, trying to share to correct the ills in the society, in the young. So I create content towards aspect of teacher Chike again that is still there. And the rest. So know your strengths. Know your strength. There are areas, some people, they are good in speaking, but they cannot stay in front of camera. You could go into the podcast section, creating a podcast, where it's audio, just talking and the rest. They are there. You have Anchor and the rest, several podcast platforms and the rest. So know your strength. You are writing. You can start writing from Facebook. Start it now. Let people be knowing what you are doing. Let me bring this to us. According to the strategy of marketing, can you all hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. According to the strategy of marketing, there's what they call AIDA, 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 AI speaks of attention, I speaks of interest, D speaks on desire, then A is action. Now, before people will ask you what you are doing, first of all, you have to get their attention. Second of all, you have to attract their interest. Then that interest will give them a desire. Then before they can take that they can have that action. Remember when Teacher Sade was speaking, she said she was doing it for a while. And after 6 months, the Lagos government called her. After 6 months of daily consistency. So people need to see you are doing something. I myself, I gave myself a challenge, first of all. Way you have to take your, okay, I want to go, okay, every week I create something, I put it somewhere. One day you'll be sending to people, it might not be making sense to them, but one day when they see your work for 100 days or for 50 days consistently, they will be tempted to check it. And in checking, they'll be like, so I've missed this for all this while. And that is how it is. So you have to first of all get their attention. And how do you get their attention? By being constant in posting, whatever you are doing, whether it is write-up, whether it is video work, or whether it is audio work, you are constant in doing that. You get their attention. After you have gotten their attention, you spark up interest, then desire, and before you know, they have that action. That is when they now come to inbox to ask you, this thing you are doing, how can I do it? Or that thing you are trying to say, how can I get it? Or that's your learning course that you have created, how can I be able to get it? And that is how it is. So I will still maybe talk up a little bit on some other stuff again, so we can do. Get into our last question before we now start having our questions. So please, if you have any questions to ask, you can start using the text section, so you can be dropping the questions, or you have it down for us, so that we know that when you are done, target your question to who you want it to be, so that the person can be able to answer you in the next 5 to 10 minutes. We will enter the question and answering section. So now the question now is, Quintessential Care Teacher Sade, do you have had, or is there any need? The next question, is there any need for a community of like-minded teachers that want to learn how to take over this tech space? Is there any need for us to have a community? And first of all, do you have the opportunity to collaborate? And second of all, is there any need for it? Can it help us? Can it assist us? So let us start with Teacher Sade. Was there any opportunity to collaborate at all when you're coming in this your teaching line and technology line? Hello?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Because can anyone hear me?
Can you hear me, please?
Okay. So I'm in this modern day teaching, there's no way you want to work alone. There's need for collaboration. Even in the classroom, we teach our children to collaborate. We give them assignments and make them collaborate with each other. I've had opportunities of working with some other teachers. Presently, the radio presentation, I'm working together with another mathematician in Manford, another local government, but we're able to come together to write the script. And while I teach English, he teaches mathematics. That is one. And several times I've had the opportunity to organize a seminar, like a kind of program with other teachers in my school. Like I told you, I have a program called the IGR, Interactive Group Radio. It was my initiative to help most of the pupils in our public primary school have problem when it comes to reading. So I just thought of that idea, and when I presented it, we were so in for it, and we had a seminar together, and we had teachers that are involved in that, and we are trying to push it together. Also, there's need for us to have a platform to work together. There's need for us to work as a group of like minds, people with the same interests. Presently, I have a group that I created on Facebook. I call it the Exceptional Teachers. I have close to 1,000 teachers on it. There we share ideas, we share information. So we can also have many other platforms like that where teachers can come together, share information, share ideas, have directive, and we can even have mentor and mentee situation where we have people that really want to do certain things and they want to get information, they want to source for information from those that are already doing it. How have you been doing it? So so that they also can also leverage on whatever the person is doing and achieve their own. There's need for us to have such a platform. Even before now, I had the opportunity of working with there's this teacher called Teacher Kwefa. It was a global teacher finalist last year. Yeah, the won the Martina Teacher of the Year like 2 or 3 years ago. He and some other teachers came together and we organized training where we were trained on the use of Microsoft Word. It was their own training that motivated me to now go fully into the training until I got my certificate as a Microsoft education certified educator. So if they had not come up with such program, I probably wouldn't have even thought of it or going for such training. So there's need for us to have platforms like this that will bring us together to share ideas. Thank you.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we've heard of their communities, and she just said the community exceptional teachers. So it's something whereby we have teachers. I envy most of these comedic content creators, like content creators that are into comedy. It's like the ones in Lagos, the ones in Benin. You find out that today, this one features the other one, the other one features the other one, the other one features the other one, and they keep growing. My success is not against your own success. So as a matter of fact, there's something I will learn from you. So their platforms, exceptional teachers, and also I'm believing that very soon, FlexiSharp will be creating a very, very huge platform whereby and for those teachers that are in Abuja, we are here. Yes, those of us in Abuja over here, we are here, and we can still see how we can collaborate to help ourselves to create more content and help each other to scale stocks. Now, Patricia, tell me, please, can we still hear from you?
So I feel like Teacher Shadi has said everything when it comes to this. There's a need for teachers to collaborate. I always say this, to teachers, there's room for everyone to soar. There's room for every teacher to soar. Teacher Shadi is in her space, she's owning her space. The quintessential teacher is in her space, she's, owning her space. There's Mr. Kwefa, just like Teacher Shadi has mentioned, is owning his space. There's room for every teacher to soar. There's Teacher Chike. I have to mention that, right? Soaring in his own space. So it's all about finding your own platform, finding what works for you, and then pushing at it. And then we can't also push aside the impact of community. Teacher Shade mentioned the community that was set up by Mr. Okwefa, which I belong to and which I also manage. So that's Teacher X. For teachers that are here, you might want to check out Teacher X when we're done. Teacher X is a platform for teachers where we come together, we organize training sessions, and then so training sessions, and then we share information, resources that teachers need basically to thrive. So it was in joining Teacher X2 that I also became a Microsoft certified educator. I've moved ahead to become a Microsoft innovative educator expert, and then I've had other fits with Microsoft just from joining Teacher X. I've learned so much. There are just many teachers with an outstanding profile of success. So when you come there, you want to learn more. Right, you want to become more. You see what other people are doing, and then your eyes are enlightened, if that's what I can say. It's like iron sharpening iron. Basically, you see what other people are doing, and then you aspire to be more. So the impact of community and collaboration when it comes to teachers' work, when it comes to our work as teachers, cannot be erased. So yes, that's it. Hello, Teacher Chike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here with you.
Okay, yeah, so that's it.
Okay, that's very good. So please, they've mentioned a few. There's a form that has been dropped now in the comment section. If you need, if you're interested in joining a community of like mind, now it's there already. So please, you click to fill that form so that we can be able to share, we can network together. Some of us are already moving forward. The little cash I get from the classroom here, I'm building my own media house, little by little. Yes. So it's all about the understanding. I know that I'm going to thrive in that tech space. That's good. That's where I'm supposed to make a fortune from. So I'm building. The little money I have, I get a camera. that we can use to be earning from the classroom, ideas that we can be doing on the side. Now, aside making class sessions that you can be putting on social media platforms and YouTube and on social media, that is good, that's wonderful for the video. Also, have you considered creating, like for those of us in the secondary arm of school and the rest, or wherever arm, creating past questions? The people that are doing it, I don't think they have two heads. And me, myself, I'm already working on my own, because I've said to myself, I can't leave the classroom without having something that the classroom can remember me for. My learners should be able to, or learners after the ones I've taught, should be able to have things easy for themselves. So how can I help them by creating past questions? I've been looking through several of them. I'm pretty sure I can make a topical compendium in biology in terms of past questions, topical compendium. You can also have that as an idea that you can work on. And it's just putting little effort every day. Even in just one day, you can that you need. The next one again is workbooks. That your subject that you teach. Sometimes you can be able to share, you can devise easy workbooks that can be sold. Easy workbooks that can be created and sold. Now, these workbooks, even in the nursery, this is where the nursery and primary can even get it more here, especially the nursery section. You see, you've seen the needs of learners as a teacher, and you know, okay, these learners have so and so need, then what can I do for them? What you can do for them is to create workbooks that they can be able to use to easily answer those needs that they have. It's there. And again, even textbooks and the rest, all of them, they are needed. You can do that as a teacher, as a side stuff. Post them online at Amazon, low content books, and you get paid for it. So as teachers, there are different ways you can be learning. They can use it to earn while you are in the classroom. Because as long as Nigeria is concerned, we understood that in Nigeria, we have been to take it serious. If the people before you, in terms of your employers, will not take it serious, please take yourself serious. Take what you do serious. Those little concepts. If there's a need for you to save, do a job. Yes, do a job, gather money, buy a good camera phone that can video for you. Video yourself, create it. After videoing, you don't need much to edit. Little software in the phone can even make you edit. Upload it somewhere. Someone will see it. Start from small content, little 1 minute content, 2 minute content. It will be as if nobody's watching you, but all you are trying to do is to create attention. Once you've created attention over a long period of time, people's interest will be attracted, and then there will be a desire. And before you know, actions start coming. And that is when you get called for this, get called for that. So please, let's take it serious and let's take our life serious. Because why? Your financial destiny is in your own hands. Your life is in your own hands. So please, let's take it serious. So that is for that particular one. So we'll be going quickly to see how we can get questions from everyone that needs to have that have questions that have been enjoying this session. So I will first of all say thank you again to FlexiStar for this opportunity. And again, thank you for teacher Sade. Thank you for Professor Kemi. She has left us already. Thank you for Sade. Thank you, Professor Kemi. I don't know, Sade, if there's anything you have to say to wrap up everything that you've said in summary, so that everybody can at least a summary of the little and just need to wrap up so that someone can have to take home before they start asking their questions.
Thank you so much. I just want to advise teachers. We are the architect of our own fortune. We don't sing our own song, nobody will sing for us. Look inward, look deeply inward and discover your own talent, your ability. There are thousands of avenues for us to make money. There are thousands of avenues for us to live good life. You don't have to wait on only the whatever salary you're getting from wherever you are working. If you are not the type that can do short videos, like we can join some, like we said, we can, I don't know if we have some, like Teacher Kemi said, I think there's a platform that recruits teachers for tutorial, online tutorials. You can do that. You can join such platform. You can even create one yourself and recruit other teachers of like mind, where you assign teachers out for families that need teachers to take their children at home. That's online classes. Apart from that, you can start writing ebooks. Many of us are good at writing stories. You can write stories. You can write articles on certain issues and publish it online. We have many online platforms where you can publish your books. And there are some things that the aspect of there are some aspects that many of us are not looking into. I believe teachers are custodians of cultural heritage. And many of us have shifted away from this line. Like for those that studied language, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, whatever language you study, have you thought of teaching that language online? People in diaspora are looking for teachers to teach their children their culture. Thousands of people, for the first time when I saw those places, I was thinking, why didn't I even study Yoruba? Why do I have to study English? Thousands of people out there, because of our interaction with Western world, many of our children have lost, our people have lost contact with our culture, and they are looking for teachers online to teach this. There are many parents there that are looking. You can start writing content in that direction. If you study Yoruba, or even if you don't study it, but you are good in such language, you know the rudiments of those languages, those culture, why not just leverage on that and start thinking, writing your own content? You can start doing a skit towards that line, write content, or you just create a platform where you are recruited to teach children at home towards such. And there are many things we can do as teachers online. There are many things that will not even take much of our time, and will even make more money than we ever make in the class. So whatever salary I'm getting from government, I don't think is I can equate to what I get online. I do some of my online teachings here and there and the content. So we have a lot of platforms to work on. We don't have to be poor. We have to change the narrative. That's my belief. People should start thinking of the next few years to come. When people mention teachers, they don't look at you as, oh, that poor person. And so that from that, we can even attract new blood into teaching line. When they see that, at least as a teacher now, you can also pay your own bill. Thank you. Thank you, Teacher Chike. Are you still there?
I'm with you, ma. Can you hear me, ma?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, now some persons are already dropping their questions. So let's see how we can be able to answer. One of them says, how can one use technology to identify students with learning disabilities? Students with learning disabilities, how can one use technology to identify them? Is there a way someone can use technology to identify them? Hello, Shade, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I'm with you. Sorry. Okay. The question again, please, sorry.
What do you say?
Hello? Sorry, I could not hear the question. It's like I'll break something.
Okay, the person asks, how can one use technology to identify students with learning disabilities?
Okay, thank you. When you say students with learning disability, in what aspect? Because I don't believe that students that has a 100% problem in learning disability. What aspects of learning is a child lacking? That will determine what you need technology. You see, deficiency in speech. There are ways of identifying that using the use of phonics and rhymes in the technology, playing music as a child to read. You can use that. Is it in arithmetic problem? There are many problems. So the question is that because it depends on, and what is the cause of the deficiency in learning? Is it that the child has a psychological problem? And there are a lot of ways. So there's need for teachers to examine a child to know what aspect the child is having problem. There's no, in education, there's no 100% zero. That, okay, this child does not even know anything at all. There must be a particular aspect that the child is good at. Then the other aspect, you need to identify the factors that are responsible for that child lacking in that aspect, and that will determine the kind of technology that you will need to apply to know where the problem is. It's not a question that you can just, okay, use this. There's no one way or one answer or one particular technology for all the problem, except there's a particular problem that needs to be solved.
Okay. So for the person that asked the question, when it comes to technology, according to what you've heard Shade say, first of all, you need to identify, you need to know what the problem is. If the person has the hyperactive disorder, you see that from what I call it, from the access of the person in class. Then maybe sometimes all you need to do is to engage the person properly with some things that will stress them, and what I call it, keep them excited to reduce that overactiveness that they have and the rest. And again, there's some of these, there's some of them, okay, maybe someone has issues in the ordering of letters and the rest, like dyslexia and the rest. When you understand that there could be programs also, yes, there's going to be programs also. That's why we need to make research and learning techniques that will assist in helping students with such conditions. So whatever the condition is, once we have been able to identify it, maybe medically and the rest, or otherwise from the actions of the session, then we can now check online to see the resources, which surely there will be resources, because there's no problem that's common to you. There's no problem that's common to me. Every problem that we're facing in the classroom, someone else here has faced. Actually, what's the difference between an educator and a teacher? An educator and a teacher, an educator and a teacher, an educator and a teacher. So, Madam Teacher Shade, do you have any answer to that?
Well, educator is a teacher is an educator. Teacher is a traditional name given to an educator right from time. It has been our traditional name, but these days the things are changing. People call it educator. Some people call us tutors. Some people call us mentors. Just different names that are evolving just to be in line with the modern this thing. But if you are an educator, you're already a teacher. Teacher is just a traditional name that nowadays teachers, modern day teachers are trying to shy away from. They just prefer, okay, let them call me educator. That's the way I say it anyway. I don't think there's any difference.
Okay, that's okay. That's wonderful. And maybe both of them can be used both within and outside the classroom. That's just the major thing. Because someone that has a shop where they pump tires is a teacher to his apprentice. And me as a teacher of biology, I'm a teacher to my students. And also, educator can also be used too. So as she has said, there's not much in terms of difference. There's just one word that can be used for the other. So is there any other question, please? Okay, someone is asking a question. Say, I'm in a public school. As well, unfortunately, responses of my colleagues to use of text in the school is very poor. Sometimes I feel isolated. I personally have to improve myself, having over 50 certificates in various aspects of pedagogy, especially what can some of us in my situation do in places where our administrators or tech laggards are tech laggards and seems not to care. So this from Paul Jackson. What answer can be given to this person? Do you have any answer, or I should jump on it? Shadi, hello? Hello?
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma. Yeah.
Yes, I'm interested in that question. See, whoever asked that question is saying the truth. You see, in the public school, when you dare to be different, you are on your own. That is just the truth. I told you earlier, just maybe probably because our promotion and everything comes to us as an ONG with ease, without problem. 90% of teachers in public school don't really want to make any extra effort. They are contented with the way they are. And if you have a growth mindset and you are among them, if you are not very careful, your spirit will be killed. And that's why you have to go outside. You don't have to remain within them. Make friends, make connection with other people outside. You don't have to, like I said, most of my friends, most of the people I collaborate with, most of the people, I know even the people in my school. The only program I ever brought to them that they accepted from me was the IGR program. Except that any other thing I come up with, they love. This, let me give you an instance. These affirmative words that I'm using for these children, I've been using it in my school for over 3 or 4 years. Like now that it went viral, they now asked me to start teaching them something they see me do every day. Nobody has ever made an attempt that they want to do the same. But because it has gone viral now, my boss was like enforcing it on me to teach all other teachers and teach other pupils in the school. So as a public school teacher, don't just remain with them. Because there's this adage in Yoruba that if a sheep decide to walk with a dog, you end up eating feces. So if you don't join them, you can't be like them. You don't have to join them. You can always do your own thing in your own way. You can look for like minds, join groups online outside your own classroom, and you don't have to still stay with them all the time. If you have any program that you want to do, don't mind whether they are going to accept it or not. If you are ready for it and you're sure you want to go for it, just go for it. By the time you are succeed, they'll come back to you and ask you how you did it. So that I want you to know and have at the back of your mind. Just try your own best without minding whether they are with you or not. If you are waiting for them, you will not be able to make any way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teacher Sade. Destiny is per head. So in simple English, what I just told you, you always face confrontation. Whenever there's a new innovation, you always face confrontation. So you must learn how to do it yourself. That's why I said you owe no one owes you nothing. No one owes you nothing. So if you're the only one doing it, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep functioning. It's making your work easy. Keep doing it. I'm also writing, lesson plan writing. When we can embrace technology and have this thing in the system, it will easily work for us. But they'll be like, okay, if they do that, the supervisors come from the Ministry of Education over here in Abuja, which remember we're in Abuja, so the Federal Ministry of Education is over here. If they come from Ministry of Education and they ask us bring, which they normally do, and they say bring this in hard copy, what are we going to do? So now we are stuck at one particular point, trying to please the system on your own. You do what is best for you. Try to see how you could be doing it because it is for your own advantage. When you have succeeded in it, everybody will now want to join you. So that is what Teacher Sade has just explained to you. So when you have succeeded in it, everyone wants to join you. So is there any other question again? Is there any other question for Teacher Sade? Any other question for the platform? I think we are already on time. It's 5. If someone is asking about this, the issue of dyslexia. The issue of dyslexia. So the person is saying that how can technology be used to treat dyslexia? How can technology be used? Hello, Teacher Sade. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, someone was asking on dyslexia, but I wanted to jump on it.
Okay.
Okay, now there are some voice recognition programs, text-to-speech softwares and spell check softwares that have been created. Just as you know, as I keep telling you, we need to see how we can make research. We need to see how we can make research because these people, if they are going to be having issues with the arrangement of letters and the rest, then how can we go ahead of that? So we can go ahead of that. There are some voice recognition programs. There are some text-to-speech for softwares and the rest. some spell check software. So when the person is writing, it's checked. For example, now, if I'm to type online, I have a plugin to my Chrome browser. And that plugin that I have to my Chrome browser is Grammarly. So I install that plugin, Grammarly plugin. So whenever I have a wrong spelling, Grammarly just comes and underlines it to be read. It underlines it for me. So all I need to do now is to go back and right click on it, and it will give me the correct spelling for it. So there are spell checkers like that. So all those things can be used, all those technologies can be used to see how they can handle issues like dyslexia. So that's about that. I don't know if Mr. Sadi, you have anything extra to add on that. Okay, now can we hear from Sonia, our host? Can we hear from Sonia?
Hi, thank you so much, everyone, for being an amazing audience, for being an amazing panelist. I'm super grateful to Teacher Chike for moderating such an amazing session. Teacher Shade, the words of wisdom that you've shared would stay with us for a very long time. And also to Princess Kemi in absentia, thank you so much. I'm not an educator, but I have learned a ton of things. Mentioned, consistency, staying at what it is that you do to eventually, get celebrated, just doing it because of the fact that it adds value to the words and the children that, are currently teaching. So that would officially, bring us to the end of today's session. This webinar happens once every month. It's called SAFSeries. We intend to share words of wisdom, just have and help each other grow together within the education and technology space. Like Jessica said, this was brought to us by FlexiServe. I can say that a lot of us are very excited filling the forms for the community. Definitely the links to this form would also be shared after today's webinar, and would hopefully continue to have this conversation so that way we can make sure that our educators get their rewards here on earth and not in heaven, as it is, likely said. Are there any last words before we call it a day? Teacher Shade, Teacher Chike?
Okay, my last word is that when passion is attached to profit, it brings satisfaction. So as teachers, ensure that you try to make your passion bring profit to you by leveraging on technology, selling out your skills to the world, showing them out there that you have something deep within you. Even the creativity that you do in class, the arts of your students, what the creative arts of your student and the rest, you show it to the world. Like I have some of them, so my content I'll be dishing out maybe by next week or so after I'm done with the creation of the video. They did a project on water cycle and all those stuff and the rest. You sell it to the world. When they ask, this person are good, you ask who taught them or who is their teacher. And before you know, you use them as a tool, it's not like a tool, use them as a platform, as a leverage upon them to get yourself that opportunity that you need, to get yourself that accolade that you need. So please, those children, don't neglect them. Those children, don't neglect them, because some people are moved by emotions, and children can easily move the emotions of people. So if you have children around you, a teacher, please leverage upon that opportunity. Bring them out. Show the world what you have taught them. Let them come and manifest it. And once they manifest it, they'll ask who taught them. And surely, wherever you are, whether you are behind the camera, you'll be brought before the camera. So please, when passion meets profit, it brings satisfaction. Until you have satisfaction, please don't rest. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, sorry, while you were asking a question about the dyslexia earlier, I was trying to fix something, so I couldn't respond. That is a medical issue, that it's not something that teachers can just do on its own. It requires medical analysis, and wherever any child that has such, I think the parents should be aware of it, and they should take normal medical attention that the child needs to get better. Then for our teachers, I just want you to know that teaching is a calling. You just have to be someone that has passion for imparting knowledge before you can be a successful teacher. If you are looking for riches and the wealth as a teacher without minding that's the nature of this profession, you may end up becoming a frustrated teacher. But that does not mean you cannot make a good life for yourself. Look inward, look at yourself, think of what you can do. Discover your own capacity and capability and go online, take a lot of courses, online courses. There are many free online courses that you can take. If you go to MOOC, there are many free courses there that you can take that doesn't cost you more, but add value to yourself. Grow, develop. Don't be stagnant and don't just follow those that are not ready to move. You are among the people that are not ready to move. Just get yourself out of them and follow those that are ready to move and move together with them. And with that, I believe we are all going to be successful teachers. Able to be our by God's grace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that would be all. Please, if you need to, ask our panelists, further questions, please do well to, follow them on social media. Shade is teacher_Shade. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Yes, as well as Teacher Chike. I think Teacher Chike is Teacher Chike1 across social media.
Yes, across all social media.
Fantastic. And we are, FlexiServe across all social media platforms as well. So unfortunately, I know we have some more questions. If you have further questions for us that we're not able to take today, please do well, to drop us your information via the community form that was shared, and we'll try to reach out to you and make sure that you have your questions answered. Shoot us a DM, shoot Teacher Shade a DM, shoot Chachike a DM if you have questions for him, outside of this, and also Quintessential Kemi. So on this note, we would say thank you very much and have a splendid evening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.